Welcome to the show today, True Life fam. I'm telling you what, Trump releases bombshell news on what they are hearing from their people through the grapevine, through the leaks on the Biden-Obama-Harris internal fighting, where Obama is having to make sure that Biden is not seen anymore for the rest of the campaign because he's trying to essentially sabotage Harris's campaign because of the White House coup. They've already told him, stay away. No more press releases, no more campaign, anything. It is crazy how the Democratic Party is in shambles, and you got Obama who's trying to control everything, and literally, they're just losing big time. Everything right now from them is trying to get away from this supposed joy campaign that they started off with Harris, and now trying to push her to be tough and ready to fight, which I don't see happening. But Harris is losing ground, and early voting is already showing that people are coming out for Trump in waves and numbers that they've never seen before. On top of the news reports they have coming out showing that it's even worse what happened with Trump, the Secret Service, and both times that he almost lost his life. We got the details for you today. Just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. Thank you to all of our members already in the chat, killing it. Love you all so much. Remember, the link is in the description to join the True Life News fam. And also, thank you to everybody that blesses the channel with a super chat donation. We're using that to give back and to help people. And we're going to do it live on this channel so that you can see that this channel is more than just reporting news. We're going to help people out. Love you all. Let's jump right into the news. Got a lot of stuff to go over today, and I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. It's great, great stuff. Check it out.
Joining me tonight is Texas Senator Ted Cruz, who rumor has it is a pretty decent debater himself. Senator, it's great to see you. I know you served in the Senate with Harris. Are you surprised that she's just terrible at these interviews after all this time?
You know, I'm not. She is, number one, an ideologue. She is hard left. Her voting record was literally to the left of Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. Now, I served with Bernie and Elizabeth. There ain't much room to their left. She is very different from Joe Biden in one respect. Biden is basically a puppet. Kamala is a true believer. She believes this nonsense. And so I watched that debate. And Kamala has one answer to every question. And her one answer is, I hate Donald Trump. So whatever the question, immigration, why do we have 11.5 million people invading this country? Answer, I hate Donald Trump. Iran, if Iran's America's greatest enemy, why did you give him $100 billion? Answer, I hate Donald Trump. How are you different from Joe Biden? What would you do differently than Joe Biden? Her answer, I hate Donald Trump. She has no answer to anything. And I got to say, the one that ticked me off the most is actually the one you just played there a minute ago, where Brett asked her quite reasonably, do you wish to apologize to the parents of Lake and Riley? Do you wish to apologize to the parents of Rachel Marin? Do you wish to apologize to Jocelyn Nungary's mother? I know Jocelyn's mother, Alexis. She's a wonderful young woman grieving her 12-year-old daughter raped and murdered by illegal aliens that Kamala Harris released. And Kamala couldn't bring herself to apologize. She said she feels sorry, but she would take no accountability and she won't change the policies, which means today she's releasing new illegals who will rape and murder someone else. She's doing the exact same thing. And by the way, my opponent in my Texas Senate race, Colin Allred is Kamala Harris. They're both open border radicals who take no responsibility for their disastrous policies.
Now, the Democrats want to dehumanize Trump, and in your race, that you don't care, that Trump doesn't care, that they're just mean, that they want to, put women, back in the kitchen. I mean, it's just the same old, tired, cliches. But meanwhile, Trump goes on with this Univision interview, another kind of hostile, event. And he's asked about the three virtues that Kamala Harris possesses. What would they be? This is what he said. I think we have the soundbite in one. Yeah. Anyway, we'll play it to you in 1 second. But in general, I think we have it. Let's listen.
She seems to have an ability to survive She seemed, because, you know, she was out of the race and all of a sudden she's running for president. She seems to have
That was a good one.
some pretty long time friendships. And that's, you know, also, that's, I don't call that an ability. I call that a good thing. And she seems to have a nice way about her. I mean, I like the way, you know, some of her statements, some of her, the way she behaves in a certain way.
Basically, all she could say about him was, well, he seems to love his family. I mean, he's really gracious. I mean, I've known you for, I don't know, 25 years, Ted. Same thing. I mean, but that's all they can do. So they're the smear and fear machine.
Look, they're motivated by hate. They've convinced themselves they hate Donald Trump with all of their heart. Their policies are a disaster, and so what they do is they lie. Look, I'm seeing the same thing. I had a debate this week with Colin Allred. The entire debate,
great.
just like Kamala Harris, he's trying to pretend that he hasn't been a hard left liberal, that he hasn't supported open borders, that he hasn't voted to defund the police, that he hasn't opposed oil and gas and energy, and he's running over $100 million of ads lying to the people of Texas. I'll tell you, Laura, I'm getting massively outspent, and so I want to encourage your viewers, please come to tedcruz.org, tedcruz.org right now, because this race is a 1 or 2 point race, and we are seeing $100 million come in, and the only way we're surviving is millions of people are coming to tedcruz.org and giving 25 or 50 or $100 or even more, and that lets us communicate the truth. It's what Donald Trump is doing, pointing out that his policies work, securing the border, unleashing the economy, and their policies are a disaster. So I'm grateful for the folks that go to tedcruz.org.
Let me tell you this. The what we're seeing is it's unprecedented. Like, you can't even make this crap up of how many they're trying to say that what we believe in, conservative or Republicans, is right wing. But I want to say thank you so much to Christine Egler for gifting 5 True Life memberships. This is awesome. So Alicia Scoborg, Joanne Miller, Victoria Hughes, LTS Gobrando, Critter number 3. Thank y'all are new members. Welcome to the family. Y'all showed them some love in the chat. That it's just blowing my mind. Right now, Trump is winning still in the betting markets, over 60% to win the election against Kamala Harris. This is great because, again, too, like I always say, follow the money. Mr. Norby, you're not too late, man. We're getting a little crazy in the chat because I'm telling you this, the more and more common sense that comes out from, I feel like, the right side, from the people like Elon Musk, you can't make this stuff up because when you say it, it sounds unreal. Listen to this. Oh, come on.
And I think the things we all want are sensible, I think common sense things.
Common sense.
You know, we obviously want secure borders. We want safe cities. Sensible spending, so that we don't have crazy inflation. We want freedom of speech. We want the Constitution to be upheld. And you know what? I'm being told at times that these are like right-wing values. I'm like, are you insane?
Are serious?
This is literally the fundamental values that made America what it is today. And anyone who is against those things is fundamentally anti-American. And the hell with them. Yeah.
Let's go. I tell you what, I love Elon Musk, but you know, when you're the richest dude in the world, you can do pretty much whatever you want, but I love it. He's 100% standing up for the truth. Guys, y'all are going to love what you're about to see because this is an exclusive just for you. Check it out.
Rolexes and then all the peep shows and stuff. I mean, some of the scammers were good. Remember the shell game guys? They were good. Like, so that's them. Like, if you're going to be good at a scammer, you might as well be good at it. That's what 60
The press
Minutes
is a big scam.
Oh,
it's terrible. You know, I don't know that a country can come back if it has a fake press.
It's hard.
Because they're like the policemen. You know, they keep people honest, right? But Democrats don't have to be honest. They really don't have to be honest because they will never be accused of anything. It's interesting. I was so amazed that Harvey Weinstein got schlonged. He got hit as hard as you can get hit because he was sort of the king of the woke, right? and yet he got hit. And I figured that maybe he wouldn't get hit so hard, but boy, did he get. You don't know him well. I don't know him well. But I watched that, and it was amazing. So when they do get hit, they get hit. But that's the only one I can think of. Normally, they protect everybody. What they did with Adams, I think, is very suspect.
I heard you bring that up last night.
Well, I brought it up because he was on the dais, and
Yeah.
I think other people were bringing it up too.
You think it's coincidental that he comes out with the immigration problem in New York City as the mayor here, and then
No.
all of a sudden the DOJ?
I predicted it. So he came out pretty strongly against the migrants taking over the city, which, as a mayor, he should, right? And not getting paid. You know, they've spent $3 billion on migrants, and the federal government's not there to pay it back. But he went against the party. I said, he will be indicted within 6 months. I know these people. Like deranged Jack Smith. This is a deranged individual.
Do you see he's going to release another manifesto? I mean, is this this guy is absolutely scum.
Before the election.
I've never seen anything like it. This is like tyranny.
And the judge is allowing
hammer sickle stuff.
And the judge is allowing him to do it, and it's not even believable. This guy is a sick puppy, and they're going to release something else, and always before the election. You know, they want to do it.
It's
before
always
the
right
election.
before the
Selection
election.
interference. No, it's a terrible thing. What's happening, and the judges. This judge is the most evil person.
I never see anything like it.
She was.
Chutkin.
They all said, "Well, make sure you don't get Chutkin." And who did I
You
get?
lucked
I got
out,
Chutkin.
man.
I got Chutkin. It's
She's
all
a
right.
real
It's
prize.
all right. Because it has to get approved by lots of different people. But they said, make sure you don't get Chutkin. Well, I have nothing to do with it. So they supposedly pick balls, right? It's not. I don't think it works that way, but that's what they say. That's the way it's supposed to be. You pick out of a hat, and that's a judge. But
Yeah,
they
there was
said,
probably one name in
well,
the
you
hat.
don't want Chutkin, that's for sure, and you got Chutkin.
Every ballot in the hat had Chutkin on it.
Well,
That's
think about it. What judge would do that? Forget about deranged Jack Smith.
Right.
You know, a judge is supposed to keep it in check. What judge would say, we're going to release something, a couple of days before?
By the way,
election?
which you have almost no ability to respond to. He could be making this up. Everyone in our system is innocent till proven guilty, not guilty till proven innocent. It's
Yeah.
disgraceful.
It's an amazing thing. Well,
You know what? The real. I got so much I want to. Can I ask you a different
no, it's
question?
because it's hard to believe, right?
It is. It's hard to believe. Like even the
believe.
CNN legal analyst, what's his name? That Honey guy
Yeah.
was like, "This is really unprecedented." That's CNN. They don't even like it.
Did he say that about this one?
He said it about 3 weeks ago
Oh,
when
he-
Jack Smith released the first. You look it up. I'm pretty sure it was Honig, but it was definitely on CNN. And he was, I think, a federal prosecutor. And he said, "I've never seen anything like this, where the prosecutor gets to release an uncontested memo with unproven charges, not in a courtroom." But basically a campaign document.
Right.
It was the most obscene thing. Again, CNN, which, let's be honest, they hate your guts. And they're putting that on you. That's how bad this guy is.
The legal analyst for CNN, he's the top guy, has been against all of this. He said Trump did nothing wrong. I'm so amazed. I'm more impressed with that than anything else I've seen on CNN. But, because you'd think they'd try and stop him.
Yeah.
He is one of the biggest guarders of the Constitution. I mean, he really is. He's a great lawyer. He said, this is really unfair. But think of it, right before the election. Now, I don't even know what it says. This is made up by other people. It has nothing to do with me. And you don't even get a right to answer. It is, see, that's election interference right there. That's cheating
How
on an
many
election.
stories have they told about you that are so? Remember you beat up the Secret Service driver? We used to
Yeah.
laugh about that in my
Y'all
show.
remember that?
Because I know the people
So
who
that's
were
now
involved.
been proven.
Could you see Trump beating up a Secret Service member? You gotta be kidding me. Mr. Tracy J. Norby with the super chat. He says, you know what? I know Kamala was the only candidate to never show up in 40 years to the A.I. Smith dinner. But I watched Trump take shots before, but God saved him. And Harris is too good to show up to charity for the poor and unfortunate kids. Rather be with the elites. 100%. Y'all show Mr. Norby some love in the chat. And the other thing to note is, to the fact of the Al Smith dinner, is that the last candidate that didn't show up was going against Reagan, and that's when they had a huge landslide. Let me know your thoughts.
That you
false.
tackled,
But
like
listen-
you gave him a triangle
Yeah.
choke from the back of the car. You're a pretty talented guy. You
A
must
lot of
learn
people
that
said,
from
don't
your-
dispute that, sir. It makes you look very tough and strong. No, they
You
say
took out a couple
they say I
seats.
went to the man on the right who's a weightlifter and like 30 years old, and then the man on the right who's supposed to be a great
Took 'em all
karate
out.
expert.
Right.
I decided to go for him, and I
it.
got him around the neck.
Use your skills, right?
And
your
this
Muay
was
Thai
a
skills.
woman who, I think the testimony is all now gone. So what happened, to me, here's one of the greatest scandals. The Unselect Committee of Political Hacks, Cheney, all these people.
Yeah.
Cheney is, they say, we have a Republican. The Republican is Cheney, and then they have kissing, crying.
Yeah, he's always crying.
I've never seen him when
What's
he's
with the
not
crying
crying.
all the time?
They call him crying at him kissing. He cries every time, He's so desperate. He's a sick
Sad,
puppy.
right?
Those are the two Republicans, okay? So they say the bipartisan committee,
Right.
they were much worse than any Democrat. The Democrats were nothing. So anyway, the head of it, Benny Thompson,
Yeah, he's
a real
gem.
beauty, he decided to destroy all evidence of this year and a half trial. Everything is gone. The reason is because I was so innocent. And like as an example, this one case that I won't mention names, the person that did that said that it's been totally unconfirmed, right? It's been unconfirmed. The Secret Service agent said, never happened. Never happened. I say, first of all, you wouldn't be able to do it.
I worked with him in New York, Bob.
Yeah, Bobby.
And
He's great.
he knows that didn't happen.
Bobby's a tough cookie. Bobby's not going to let
He's a
somebody
Marine.
grab him. Yeah, you're not grabbing Bobby around.
You're right.
there.
That may be a great, like you took them all
No,
out.
no,
with
I
your
have a
judo
friend
and
that say,
stuff.
why are you fighting that?
Yeah.
Let it be. It doesn't make any difference. Let it be. You beat that crap out of him. It's the coolest thing I've ever heard, right? But I said, let's tell the truth. It never happened. I actually said, I'd love to go down, remember, peacefully and patriotically. Do you know they don't mention that in any paper?
No, never.
The biggest, most important part, peacefully and patriotically. They don't mention that in any paper, in any document, in anything.
No, they
It's crazy.
don't. They never say it.
So it was all disproven. Did you know they've destroyed all evidence, right? Now, you're supposed to go to jail if you destroy evidence. Even in a civil case, you go to jail. They announced, we have decided to destroy all evidence having to do with the Unselect Committee. I love the name Unselect because it's called the Select Committee. I call it the Unselect Committee.
Do you find it weird that the January 6th Unselect Committee, which I agree is unselect about him, do you find it weird they're not interested about why Kamala Harris was not at the Capitol on January 6th, but was
Boom.
at the DNC when a
Yeah.
pipe bomb was outside?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Why doesn't Kamala Harris? They keep saying it's an insurrection. Why doesn't she tell that story?
It's a rigged deal. The whole thing is rigged, 100% rigged.
If you get elected, and we hope that happens, can you get an answer as to why she was there?
I do believe. Look, this is really corrupt stuff. The other
Let me tell you this real quick because we have to be careful across all networks. This is why I show things from all across the networks because this is starting to pop up again. What I'm about to show you, you have to make sure that we've got free speech and you can see the whole picture. Watch this.
Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities.
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
CBS.
Plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false news
has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control and
Do y'all see this? They're all saying the exact same things. You've got Fox in here, NBC, CBS, ABC, every single one of them saying the exact same things. This is why we need freedom of speech, and this is why we have to have outlets that are beyond the mainstream media. Now, I know we showed a lot of things from Fox and stuff, but trust me, I'm making sure because I want you to see the truth of what's actually going on versus just hearing a repeated narrative from the mainstream media. That's what we got to be careful of, because if we don't, then we could lose the actual truth in what we're trying to see. Just like the truth right now, Biden, Obama, Harris, there's a big rift right now in the Democratic Party between them three. Check this out. Oh, sorry, y'all.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. As always, thank you so much for joining us. All right, a telling tidbit from the New York Post today sheds more light on the friction between Kamala Harris and the man who actually won his party's primaries. At Ethel Kennedy's funeral, Biden reportedly whispered to Obama, "She's not as strong as me," according to this renowned lip reader who analyzed the conversation. Obama then answered in response, "I know, that's true. We have time." Well, not a lot, only 19 days. And there is a building consensus tonight that the political momentum, at least for now, is with Donald Trump.
Like, this is from the Hill, y'all. This is from the Hill. You could say that they're more right-leaning, but they're almost very, very center. But everything is pointing in the momentum of going towards Trump. Oh.
He did a Univision town hall yesterday, another hostile forum, and seemed to take it all in stride. No reports that he showed up late or tried to wrap the interview early. That's because he's confident of himself and of his understanding of the issues, as complex as they are. Now, this is a stark contrast to Kamala in the Fox den, and that's the focus of tonight's angle. All right, last night we shared our instant reaction to Harris's sit-down with Bret Baier, but now we have a better sense of just how badly it went for her. And her own supporters inside and outside the campaign, oh, they know it. The best that they could do, and I read pretty much everything today, the best they could do was try to portray her as Kamala in the lion's den. The media's word of the day, tough.
At the end of the day, this is all about one word, the word tough. It showed that Harris was tough.
She showed a real toughness by going in there and standing.
Do y'all see? It's all so coordinated. Every single one of them say the exact same dang thing.
Toe-to-toe, it was clearly an unfriendly venue.
It was aggressive, it was tough, and she was absolutely fine. She has answered, Kamala Harris, every criticism that has come her way.
Wait. She was absolutely fine. Would anyone say that about Donald? It was absolutely fine. She answered every criticism. What interview were these people watching? Plus, shouldn't we assume that a party's nominee is going to be tough? Isn't that supposed to be kind of a given for this job description?
Especially,
I'm sure Kim Jong-un and Xi Jinping, they're not tough at all. Putin, nah, they're not tough. And if you really are tough, if you really are crushing it in an interview, why on earth would you want your staffers to cut it short? But in fact, that's exactly what happened.
Madam Vice President, they're rapping me very hard here. They're giving me a hard rap
Well,
here.
I thank you for the time.
Now, why didn't Madam Tough Lady wave off her staff when they were waving at Bret to rap? I mean, if you are just dominating an interview, if you're on the top of your game, you're reaching an entirely new audience, then why wouldn't you want it to breathe a little, have a little fun? Well, here's some context.
We were supposed to start at 5 p.m. This was the time they gave us. Originally, we were going to do 25 or 30 minutes. They came in and said, well, maybe 20. The vice president showed up about 5:15. I had to dismount there at the end. You know, I'm talking like 4 people waving their hands, like, it's got to stop.
It was like the gymnastics, like, moving around. Now, obviously, her comm staff saw what all of us saw, and it was not pretty. Now, it wasn't that Bret was getting combative. Bret was just doing what journalists used to do, ask serious questions.
Yes.
And, occasionally follow up when questions are actually not answered. It's not that he was combative. It was that she was getting more visibly annoyed the longer it went on. Enter the verbal crutch. May I please finish?
We have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
So your Homeland Security Secretary said that 85% of apprehensions.
I'm not finished.
Pathway to citizenship.
May I finish responding, please? But you have to let me finish, please.
And it wasn't just that. Her staff should have had her practice answering at least a few questions about her record. Got to answer questions, right? Without using the words Donald Trump.
Oh my
She
goodness.
literally could not do this.
Could not.
They say the country is on the wrong track. 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
I love that scene.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't.
That was the best line ever. I actually have no idea what you're talking about. That made no sense. Weak, weak, weak. The woman who thinks she deserves to be president showed up late to an interview and then refused to answer straightforward, rather simple questions that she should have answered 3 months ago. So the subtext throughout, I had to watch this again, it was torture. Whenever she was asked about her actual record or actual comments in the past, 2019, what she's trying to say is that I guess they all would have had more success and a lot more consensus if Trump wasn't out there running and running for president and banging the drums. I guess that was her argument. Now, she wanted to show the country that she is, in fact, a serious person with serious plans and solutions about how to repair our border and lift up our economy. But she didn't, because she can't. All she could do was what she always does, grandstand and repeat lines that her consultants had her memorize. Now, when Brett brought up the mother who blames Biden and Harris after her daughter was murdered by an illegal, this was the feigned emotion.
I will tell you that I am so sorry for her loss. I'm so sorry for her loss. Sincerely. But let's talk about what is happening right now with an individual who does not want to participate in solutions.
First of all, when anyone says sincerely,
Man, that guys, that makes me so angry, because when I think of that family that will never be the same, they will never be the same because of what happened that didn't have to happen. They could have prevented it. It literally just makes me think she doesn't deserve to be president. Y'all open the dang borders. You're the ones who ushered them in. You didn't vet them. And because of that, we have people, criminals in the United States that shouldn't be here. Their blood is on your hands. And I just wish that there was a way for them to be held accountable for it. Maybe through this. Check this out.
Here with reaction, Fox News contributor, former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, is with us. Mr. Speaker, so she was lying, filibustering, blaming Trump. You know, they're calling him a fascist, a Nazi. They're playing the race card. Put it all together. What does this tell you about where they think this race is with 21 days to go?
First of all, I just want to say, I thought that Brett Baier did an amazing job. And a comment that Charlemagne the God had said on the radio show, she filibusters. And Brett broke into her filibuster and disrupted her rhythm. And I think was generally a very bad night for her, not because Brett was biased, but because he kept going back to the record and back to the truth and back to clear questions. Now, here, I want to be very clear about how really worried I am. You have two enormous threats that are out there that are totally outside the American tradition. The first, which you've indicated a little bit of tonight, is people who are on the left so paranoid, so frightened, so out of touch with reality, you don't know what they're going to do.
No,
and I think this is a very real problem with almost a mental health kind of problem, but it could have very direct, very real consequences. You know, for a long time they thought that the effort to impeach Trump would stop him. Then they thought that January 6th would stop him. Then they thought that the courts would stop him. He just keeps coming. And I think at some point, the desperation of those on the left who see him legitimately as the end of their world, which is what he is, could lead to activities that really we have to worry about a lot. The other thing, which I don't think is talked about enough, the Iranians have clearly said they want to kill Trump.
Yes, they're afraid of him.
I'm delighted that Speaker Johnson has spoken up and said bluntly, that an Iranian attack on an American political leader would in fact be an act of war and would lead to war. And even President Biden has said that attacking an American leader would be an act of war. But I think we need to be really concerned because the Iranians have a long history of trying to kill people and assassinate people. And so between those two, I think we have to have a constant concern for the safety of President Trump because he's showing enormous courage. He continues to campaign. He continues to be vulnerable. He continues to be out with the American people. And yet a tiny percent of the American people verge on being crazy. And the Iranians really have a long history of trying to kill people. So that's my biggest worry. I think barring that, Trump's going to be the next president. I think he's going to win, and I think he may win by a shocking margin.
Let's go.
Let me ask you, will these tactics of playing, I want to get back to specifically what they're saying, because the rhetoric is ratcheted up. I think we got a little bit of a glimpse of their closing argument today, and it's not, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? It's fascist, Nazi, race card, lie, blame Trump if the dog bites, bee stings if you're feeling sad. Will it work?
Look, it's like being at the Thanksgiving dinner with your family, and there are 30 or 40 members of the family there, and 2 of them are insane, and they've been drinking all afternoon, and they start saying things that are so crazy that the rest of the family hopes they'll just go out back and be quiet. These kind of arguments are not going to work with normal Americans. They're going to make, Yale College professors excited. They're going to make people at MSNBC excited. But normal, everyday Americans know this stuff is nuts. There's no evidence in 4 years of Trump presidency that he's in any way a threat to America.
I think they should be totally discredited as a media company for saying that Trump's going to put people in camps. Like, how did they get away with saying such insane rhetoric? And then they say, oh, Trump's the one with the bad rhetoric, just like Kamala Harris said, we got to get away from somebody who has used rhetoric to divide our country. She is such full of what. It blows my mind. But look, Trump just got a huge endorsement, everybody. I don't know if you know this guy. He knows a lot about money and finances. Check this guy out.
Okay. I'm looking at ideas and which ideas land on which side of the aisle. Where am I most likely going to get a tax policy I like, an immigration policy I like, a foreign policy I like? Where am I most likely to get a gun policy I like, a climate change policy I like, a woke policy I like, that I agree with? Where am I most likely to get that? And I can check those boxes very clearly, very quickly on these 2 candidates. So I'm going to tell you, I'm voting for Donald Trump, not because I'm voting for Donald Trump.
Are we going here?
That's okay. But because I checked those boxes.
I love what he says.
And more of those are on that side than on the other side. Some of you are never going to listen to me again after this. That's okay. I can deal with that. That's happened to me for 30 years. People have threatened me that I'm going to cancel you. That's hard to do. I own the show. And so you're not going to get to cancel me. So.
That is savage. Dave Ramsey comes out and says, you can't cancel me. I own my own show. What are you going to try to do?
On the one hand, it's like, okay.
So, again, too, this is other news that I want to show you that you're not going to see across mainstream media, but it is literally the facts of what actually goes on. Because when you hear the Democrats always saying what? We're for the working class. We're the ones that are going to make sure to take care of you and take care of the poor. It's not reality. Listen to this.
There was an analysis done. Bobby Kennedy told me this, and I checked it. It's true. In the last election, Biden voters own 70% of the wealth in the United States, and Trump voters own 30%. And I thought to myself, on the one hand, it's like, okay, the Republican Party is now the party of working class people, great. But then I thought, how did they get 70% of the wealth?
That is nuts.
They don't do anything, actually. They have no skills. There's nothing they do that we really need. In fact, most of it's bad. I mean, ask yourself, if your average Biden voter somehow got pulled out of the workforce, would you be okay? No, I'm really. How long do you think this country could survive without private equity? A week? Before we all just starve to death? How long could you and your family make it without a DEI consultant on site? No, I'm serious. Could you get to Halloween? Or would one of your little children stare up at you with doe eyes and say, Mommy, I need a DEI consultant. I need it now. I need it now. Honestly, I need a school counselor or some heavy-set nurse to convince me to go trans. I need that. Honestly, I need Tim Walz talking to me about my sex life in high school. Really, I need a creep like Tim Walz. No, I do. I need it. I need it bad. Yeah, that guy's not creepy. Okay. Let your instincts be your guide on that one, let me just say. As I always would tell my children, if someone seems creepy, he is. Am I indicting him for the crime? Nope, I don't have any evidence. I don't need any. That guy's a creep. Sorry.
Oh, Tampon Tim.
Chances my dogs would bark at Tim Walz if he came over to my house, 100%. Oh, yeah, they would. They'd back him into a corner. I'd be like, stop that. And they wouldn't stop because they know. But the point is, that entire, not just political party, but class of people has created an entire economy and credentialing system to reward themselves with money and power that is not deserved. That's exactly the truth. I don't like to swear, but the phrase bullshit jobs is a real thing.
Sorry, y'all.
Those are all bullshit jobs, every single one of them. And yet they're lecturing people who, I don't know, plumb your house, keep you from getting murdered, put out the fires when they start, rescue you after a car crash on the highway, build the building you live in, pave the road you drive on, grow the food you eat. Those are the deplorables? Really? Good luck when the power goes out, honey. You can call your average college administrator to save you.
I'm telling you this, what I love is, you know, Tucker Carlson was part of Fox. They kicked him out. He went and started his own show. And now what he's doing is he comes out and he says the truth. 70% of the wealth in America is owned by the Democrats. What does that tell you? If they're the ones who have most of the wealth and are controlling most of what's going on, and they say that we need to take care of the poor, but the poor aren't actually being taken care of, then are they in fact lying? Because the more and more that we pull this data, we show what's actually going on, we show who's actually in charge, it just says a lot. Because again, too, when you look at the people, richest guy in the world, Elon Musk, what is he coming out to say? Hey guys, let's stop wasting taxpayer money. Is that not common sense? Does that not make sense? And is that not the truth that maybe we should move in that direction since we're almost $36 trillion in debt and the politicians have no answer for it? Check this out.
The federal government is really staggering. It's a staggering amount of waste of taxpayer money. And if we're, you know, for any given expenditure, we have to say, well, what does this do for the citizens of America? Like, how is this good for the people of America? It's their money. Like, for some weird reason, a lot of people in the sort of, you know, state or whatever, the politicians, they seem to forget that the money being spent is your money. And if it's not being spent in a way that is beneficial to the American people, it's a misuse of the funds.
Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk calling out wasteful government spending while campaigning for former President Trump in battleground Pennsylvania last night. I spoke with Trump on Sunday Morning Futures, and we discussed his plans for cutting spending and working with Elon Musk. Watch this.
But you've also said that there's a lot of fat in government that you would want to slim down.
Fat.
Yes.
So what agencies would you want to shut down?
Well, let me have you ask another person that, because I'm going to have Elon Musk. He is dying to do this. He's a great business guy, and he's a great cost cutter. And he said, I could cut costs without affecting anybody.
So he will be in the cabinet?
Not in the cabinet. He just wants to be in charge of cost cutting. We'll have a new position, Secretary of Cost Cutting.
Man, I love hearing
Secretary
that.
of Cost Cutting. Joining me now is Texas Congressman Jody Arrington. He's the chairman of the House Budget Committee and a member of the House Ways and Means Committee, along with the Joint Economic Committee. Mr. Chairman, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. You were the first member of Congress to endorse the proposed Trump-Musk Government Efficiency Commission. And now Trump says...
And I just want to say this, too, because you got to get people that are outside of the establishment. The people that are in the mix, the people that are career politicians, the people that have been there for a long time, they're a part of the problem. You got to clean house. You got to get somebody like RFK, somebody who goes against the grain, somebody like Elon Musk, somebody like Tulsi Gabbard, people that are not afraid to actually tell you what's going on. That's what we need in government right now. And that's why Trump is such a threat to the Democratic Party, because he is anti-establishment. He didn't come from politicians. He came from being from business, and he sees the state of where the United States is at and that we need to clean house. I love hearing that they're planning to give taxpayers more of our money back.
This new position, Secretary of Cost Cutting. Tell us what needs to be done, Mr. Chairman.
Well, it's music to my ears, obviously. The only way we're going to get out of the inflationary firestorm is to start with reining in spending.
Yes.
There's tremendous, hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars in low-hanging fruit to right-size the bloated bureaucracy after COVID. So let's just rescind the unspent COVID monies. Start there. There's $236 billion, Maria, in wasteful and fraudulent spending in entitlement programs, namely health care and welfare. One example, the child tax credit that you hear talked about a lot wastes 33 cents on the dollar. And that's one of many programs where monies aren't getting to the intended beneficiary, but are just squandered. And I can't think of a better approach than to have entrepreneurs and CEOs from the private sector who could never compete and stay in business if they didn't run a lean and efficient and cost-effective organization. We're long overdue for this. I have a balanced budget. My committee passed twice. It's got trillions in savings. It's a pro-growth, pro-work, pro-energy.
I'll say this, GH, I see your comments. This is not a place where we come to troll, especially to troll. Like, I'm here to serve the people, and this is my house. So I don't, if you don't, I'll tell this to everybody. We keep the rhetoric nice, kind. We can express our opinions, but we don't attack people. You start attacking people, I will block you in a heartbeat.
Budget, because growth is going to be a part of bringing our over World War II levels of indebtedness down to a sustainable path. So I'm excited about this. Again, a long list of things to do to right-size the people's government and make sure that our children will not inherit the whirlwind of a debt crisis, but have the freedoms and the land of opportunity that we've enjoyed.
And of course, we've seen the impact of reckless spending. I believe the Democrats led $7 trillion in spending on Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's watch, which sent inflation to 40-year highs.
Listen, it was their reckless spending combined with their failed economic policies. They were paying people not to work. They were assaulting the lifeblood of our economy in energy, and they were taxing and regulating our job creators into the ground. So it was a combination. But listen, $2 trillion of the $8 trillion in record deficit spending that has occurred under the Biden-Harris administration happened unilaterally. That was executive actions, $2 trillion, of which is funding illegal immigrants with, quote, free health care. Tens of billions of dollars. It's about $150 billion on an annual basis, 9,000 per illegal immigrant. That's more than we spend on Medicaid for the most vulnerable American citizen. There's a long list, Maria. There's a long list, and we got to get aggressive about it.
Did y'all hear that? How much money is being spent on illegal immigrants? We have plenty of people, homeless veterans. We have those on Social Security. We have children that are American citizens that are our sons and daughters, our family members, and it just kills me that the administration steps over people that are American citizens to help somebody that's not. And a lot of people say, well, Joel, you don't have compassion for other people. I put America first. I put American citizens first. And I put that flag first. Everybody should always put their country first, no matter where you're from. This is our country. These are our family. This is our money. That's my stance. But it just bothers me when I hear $9,000 to illegal immigrants. Like, are you kidding me?
This issue has been really upsetting American citizens, given the fact that we just got through 2 major hurricanes, and Alejandro Mayorkas said that FEMA might not make it through the hurricane season. They're running out of money. Why? Because we believe that they spent much of that money on illegal migrants. You just said as well, all this spending in terms of illegal migrants. Why? What is this obsession with a wide open border?
Well, I think they think there's some electoral advantage, obviously, because there's no other way to justify it. I think they have created this. It's a self-inflicted crisis. The biggest problem is the immediate threat to the safety and security of the American people. But it's also shifted the focus. It's like a whole of government focus to deal with the fallout from this crisis, including $1.6 billion in monies from FEMA spent on housing and food and transportation, by the way. And so it's a misappropriation of tax dollars, but it's a misguided focus for the federal government. They're prioritizing illegal immigrants over our own people in their biggest time of need, and we can quantify that, but the American people understand what's going on, and that's why they're going to, I believe, pick a new leader who will prioritize their needs and their country.
Congressman, it's great to see you this morning.
Let me tell you this. Why is it so bad to say that nowadays? I got this, just, again, quick update, refreshing it so that y'all can see. It did come down just a little, but still such a huge lead over Harris. But why is it so bad to say that nowadays, that we want to put American citizens first? Why is it so wrong to say, you know what? Why are we spending money on illegals versus actual American citizens? Like, that's what kills me. It's like they've tried to demonize it. This is the newest update for the Nate Silver, who does out of 40,000 simulations, who's going to win right now. We've got 51.6% for Trump, 48.1% for Kamala Harris to win. But look how it's literally done this, guys. Like, it's insane how it's gone back and forth. But when you hear Kamala Harris, you don't hear a competent leader. In that interview with Brett Baier, she, the entire time, did not stand for any point that she is bringing or policy that she's bringing. She kept just saying how much it was Donald Trump's fault. And then whenever he questioned her, said, well, you know what? You actually are the one been in office. She literally said, well, he's been a candidate. What the heck does that have to do? Like it bothers me how they can't take accountability. I don't care if you're independent. That's why I love Tulsi Gabbard and RFK, who used to be Democrats, but are now on Trump's side, because they see the state of the race, they see where the country's at, and they say, you know what? We kind of need, isn't it time that we get away from this progressive thoughts and put America first? What that flag represents: freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to bear arms, freedom to live the American dream. That's what this is all about. Just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button so we can serve you every day with the top news. And if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. It really does help out. Guys, I don't know if you've noticed this back here, but right here, right here. Sorry, right there is my poster from Steve Jobs. This is one of the mantras I literally live by. It says, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. I'm one of those people. I believe that I can help change the world for good. And that's what we're doing through this channel. And that's why next Tuesday, we're scheduling to go live and make a huge multi-$1,000 donation to help out the hurricane victims. to give back. And I'm telling you, we're doing it because that's where our heart is at, that we're not only going to report the news, we're going to help out our brothers and sisters. So I appreciate everybody that's given a super chat. Mr. Tracy J. Norby, appreciate you so much. Appreciate also too Christine Engler for gifting 5 True Life News memberships. TJ Van Ness for joining the True Life News family. Appreciate y'all so much. Love you all so much. We are here to serve you. Hope you have a wonderful one, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.